The housing chapter of Golden Valley's 2040 Comprehensive Plan identified the need to expand the variety of housing options for residents. One implementation option was the modification of zoning to allow for accessory dwelling units. Accessory dwelling units, or ADUs for short, refers to a secondary residence or apartment that exists on the same property as a single-family home. The ADU has a smaller footprint than the main home and is often described as attached, internal, or detached, depending on whether the ADU is connected to the structure or if it's freestanding in the backyard. ADUs have gained popularity nationally as a means of allowing aging homeowners to downsize from their existing home while remaining in their local community and neighborhood. ADUs are also commonly used to house adult children, family with disabilities or other care needs, or as a rental unit to provide supplemental income. ADUs can cycle between different uses depending on the owner's needs over time. In 2021, the City Council directed staff and the Planning Commission to explore how an ADU ordinance could be implemented in Golden Valley. The Planning Commission began by reviewing the policies and practices of surrounding communities. More than 18 cities allow for ADUs in one form or another, including neighboring communities like St. Louis Park, Crystal, Plymouth, and Minneapolis. In 2022, the Planning Commission focused on crafting regulations to control the scale, location, and appearance of ADUs in Golden Valley. All ADUs, regardless of design, would be subject to some shared regulations, such as an ADU can only be added to a single-family home, not to a duplex. Each parcel is limited to one ADU. Existing lot cover and impervious surface maximums still apply. ADUs are capped at 35% of the home's living area, or 950 square feet, whichever is less. And finally, ADUs require an administrative review in order to be established. Attached and internal conversion ADUs typically have a lower cost to build than a detached ADU, since they're simply expanding the existing home. In addition to all the previously described general regulations, attached and internal ADUs will be subject to the same setback, height, and building envelope requirements as for the principal home, with no special exceptions or standards. Proposed regulations for detached ADUs are slightly more complex. The city currently has minimal setback and design requirements for sheds and detached garages, but higher standards have been proposed for detached ADUs to protect adjacent properties. Unlike attached and internal ADUs, only lots over 10,000 square feet would be eligible to establish a detached ADU, due to the constraints presented by smaller lots. Along with the minimum lot size requirement, all detached ADUs would be required to be located in a rear or a side yard of a property, and would be limited to 12 feet in height, measured from the floor to the top plate of the building. Specific design requirements would include matching the exterior finish of the main home, prohibiting rooftop decks, and requiring any window dormers to face towards the lot's interior. Finally, under the proposed language, 2 approval pathways for detached ADUs would be provided. For detached ADUs that meet the required setbacks for the main home, the same administrative review and approval would apply as for other ADUs. For detached ADUs that only meet the minimum 10-foot side and rear setback requirements, a conditional use permit would be required. The city welcomes your comments on the proposed zoning code changes regarding ADUs, and there are a few ways you can do so. Public hearings will be held at both the Planning Commission and City Council. Planning Commission will meet on October 10th at 6:30 p.m., and City Council will meet on November 1st at 6:30 p.m. Both meetings will be held at City Hall in the Council Chambers and will also be available through CCX and WebEx broadcasts. If you are unable to attend either meeting but would still like to provide comment, we will be offering an additional written public comment option in advance of the Planning Commission. Visit this link to use the form or go to the city website and search for accessory dwelling units to find the webpage. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out by emailing planning@goldenvalleymn.gov, and we will be happy to provide any assistance we can.